So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the session. Our today's topic is digital channels for acquiring new customers. Our today's speaker is Mr. Divesh Wadhwa. He's the founder and heads business strategy at Orange Health Digital. His key strengths include creating go-to-market plans, acquisition models, and lead nurturing funnels using an integrative digital strategy. Orange Health Digital is a boutique setup driving digital marketing for some of the leading healthcare players in India, Singapore, and Middle East across their entire marketing funnel. In his past, he has been a venture capital and private equity investment professional with experience across technology and real estate investments. Sir, I hand over the session to you.
Sure. Thank you so much. So I'll also make a quick introduction so that I set context for the class. So I've been running my own marketing firm for the last 5 years, and we specialize in digital marketing for healthcare companies. So our model to healthcare companies is a bit different, where we go to them and we tell them that give us access to your digital, and we will run it for you end to end. So we set that up as a P&L for them. That's been a good strategy because over the last 5 years we're working with some of the biggest names in India. So we drive the marketing for big hospitals in Bombay like Just Lok Hospital, Nanavati Hospital, if you heard of them. We have the mandate for Roche Diagnostics India. We've got the mandate for AstraZeneca. We work with pharma like Glenmark, Sanofi. So it's a typical big mix of companies in different spaces within healthcare, and each company has its own requirement in terms of how the digital needs to run. So that's my background, and I'm really happy that I've got this opportunity to kind of address this class and see how things go forward. So I have prepared a small deck for the session. I will go through the deck and then we can open the session for some questions. Just share my screen. Sure. So, 2 hour session is never justice to understanding digital marketing because it's a very, very wide topic. And but we still try to concise everything. And the whole objective of this class is that if any of the attendees want to start their own marketing, this actually will give you the background or the base on which you can start your business. So typically, why digital marketing? Quickly, how life was probably in 2010 to how life is today. We see that there's a big transformation that has happened from what we were doing earlier to what we're doing now. So in 2016, as you can see on the slide, there were around 432 million internet users in India. Today there are 722 million internet users. Digital marketing was generating a revenue of only around 65 billion INR. Now it's tripled in the last 4 years. If you look at the numbers in 2010, they were probably 1/5 of the numbers in 2016. So this is a trend that is going to go. Everybody is now going online. You can see your own user behavior. And what's happened over the last few years is that, earlier the concentration of your customers was only from urban areas, tier 1 cities, some sort of tier 2 cities. Today that has widened drastically. So when we do marketing, I can give you an example from 2015 2016. For a lot of brands, around 60-70% of our revenues or sales were coming from tier 1 cities. Today, around, I would say, an equivalent is coming from tier 2 tier 3 cities. So overall in India, we've seen a deep penetration of the market. And people say, how do you envision digital 5 years down the line? Actually, the future is now. Right now, from what I'm seeing in my experience across different brands, this is the right time to actually start going on the internet, before it gets too late. So, this is why I would recommend, having a digital channel for whatever business you're in. So why online? What is it that you're doing online that is giving you a specific advantage? Now, online customer segmentation, if you see, as against a newspaper or any offline activity, you can actually divide your customers. You can target them based on geography. So you have a service in a particular city. You can just target that particular city. If you're in a neighborhood, you want to target people in your neighborhood, you can use digital to do that. From a demographic point of view, you can do basis, education, occupation, gender, age, psychographic segments like lifestyle, personality, values, behavior segments, where how much usage, benefit desired, loyalty status, the socioeconomic status. So online gives you that kind of segmentation, where you can exactly, if you know who your customer is, you can definitely go online and just target that particular person. So that's how it typically works for online, and that's the beauty of actually going online and marketing a product. Also, segmentation wise, rule of thumb, always focus on segments online that are lucrative, they promise growth, and they're always compatible with your company strengths. I'll come to more on this in the later half of the presentation. So let's look at digital channels. Now digitally there are major, 4 or 5 major channels which at a beginner level or at an intermediary level, you should focus on. So the first channel I'll take you through is, I mean, these are the 5 channels actually. So one is your online presence setup. You have to have a presence online if you're looking at some kind of marketing. That is your landing. So any customer who's coming online will want to kind of see you. So that could be in the form of your Google My Business account, could be your own website, could be a listing platform. So you might be listed on third-party platforms like Just Dial, for example. So that's your online presence where the person can come and read about you. Now, it is simple to kind of have an online presence, but your online presence also needs to be discoverable. So that is the next side of marketing, where you have search engine optimization, search engine marketing, social media marketing, and you have some other channels. So, if you have your database of customers, you can send them SMSs, you can send them emailers, affiliates, so there are a bunch of channels that you can target. Primarily for this particular session, we're looking at search engine optimization, search engine marketing, and social media marketing. Okay. So I'll give you a simple example. Now, when when the first step for any business to go online is to ensure that you have some online presence. Now, it's simple. Uh, what are the 3 things that you need to do on an online presence? A is get your own website. So the best way to actually get your own website, the most inexpensive way to actually get your own website is that there are already existing templates that exist for your particular website. So there are. I'll just quickly take you through a hack that you can follow. 1 second. Is my screen visible? Hey, 1 second. I'm not sure of the screen. Are you able to see the?
Yes, sir. We can see a manufacturing WordPress window.
Oh, sure. Great. So, I mean, this is there is this website called themeforest.in. So, say for example, you are in the manufacturing business, you want to create a website for yourself. So there are hundreds of themes over here. You can just go click on a theme. Uh, Typically, the theme will show you everything. It'll have like a preset website. You can select the theme. You can go to a website developer, tell them, okay, this is what I want my website to look like. This is how I want to customize it, and things like that. So this gives you an idea rather than building a website from scratch, because that is an area where we see most people making a mistake, where you'll go into building your own website. You look at various kind of designs, that becomes like a 3 month 4 month process. Instead of that, the best way to actually tackle the solution is that you look at a theme on Theme Forest. You can go on to this website. You can go select your industry. So I work in healthcare, for example. So if I just go select on healthcare, I will get. Sorry, I don't know what's the issue. Oh, sorry, I got the spelling wrong. Yeah. So I'll get a host of themes that are over here. So I can see this is a doctor theme, for example. So if I'm opening a doctor's clinic, they'll give me 5 or 6 options. So I can just select what's the best that I like, and I can go back to working that out. So this would be a very I would say, I mean, if you're looking at kind of getting your sorry, if you're looking at kind of getting a website done, this would be a good starting point. The second is setting up an account on Google My Business. So this is a mandatory for most businesses that I would recommend. This would include, I'll come back to it in the next slide in detail. And third is, listing your business on a contextual platform. So whatever area of business you are, there are platforms like IndiaMart, Tracto, Just Dial. Always ensure that your business is listed on these particular platforms. Now, this is Google My Business. So say, for example, it's a very simple way to list your business on Google. So people who are finding you can actually find where you are, can find details about your customer, and it also details about your business. And it also adds a level of legitimacy to your business. So somebody who's looking to visit you or know about you, or if you're a consumer facing business, then wants to see reviews about you, that can be done through Google My Business. And so I would highly recommend that everyone should go online. It's a very simple process, but set up your business listing on Google My Business. So that's your second most important way of ensuring that you have an online presence. First is your own website. So now, okay, we've kind of discussed that we've set up our own website. We've discussed, we've set up a presence online. Now, the whole idea is that we need to be discovered, right? Because if I have a website, now the only way somebody is going to visit my website is if they know my website URL. But but there are millions of websites on the internet, right? So that's when something known as search engine optimization comes in. Now, what exactly is search engine optimization? Now, there are over 1 billion websites on the website on the internet, and there are millions of web pages related to every single search. So say for I'm looking for a salon in Mumbai, I'll get thousands of search pages on that. You can you make any search and you go, Google will give you page by page, from page 1 to page 2, page 3. As a user, if you're searching, but as a user, you will, if you see your own behavior when you search something on Google, you will max go on to the second page. You're most likely to go on to the first page and select click on something from the first 5-6 options that you get, and because you're not going to be looking through the millions of pages. So that's where search engine optimization comes in. What exactly search engine optimization is, that you need to optimize your website in such a way that for whatever a person is searching for, you come into the first 5 or 10 or 15 searches on Google. That's how people will discover you. And I'll give you, and how do you do that? Superior content on the website. You have well organized technology, so you go and get a good quality website made. The technology is in place, and then you keep on following what your website has been doing. So this is the fundamental of search engine optimization, and I'll give you my example. Okay, now this is my company. Okay, now if you search for healthcare digital marketing agency or healthcare marketing agency, I appear in the top 5. Okay, and I am competing with hundreds of companies that actually understand search engine optimization. Now, how does it benefit my business? Say for example, any pharma company, any healthcare company that is looking for a healthcare marketing agency, a healthcare website agency, they're looking for a healthcare social media marketing company, right? So there are marketing managers who are searching for these keywords. Today or over the last 5 years, I have not had a single person that I've hired on business development, because I always have more business coming in than I can actually cater to. So, companies who are going online, searching these keywords, have an intent to, purchase my service. Anyone looking for healthcare social media marketing agency, looking to, give some business to a marketing agency, whether it's a social media, search engine optimization, their complete digital marketing mandate. So what happens is that if you look at the cost benefit, now the cost of me hiring a professional business development head would probably cost me 1 lakh a month. For me to kind of have an associate under him would probably cost me around 50,000 a month. Plus a lot of companies go out and take part in these trade fairs, put up stalls and do other marketing initiatives, another 15-20 lakhs a year or even more for that matter, right? So effectively on manpower costs and marketing costs, I'm saving around 40 lakhs a year, purely because I'm able to rank in the top 3 or 5 searches for my particular keywords. So the idea is that whenever you're doing your website, um, you should identify what in your mind, what is it that a person who is like, what is the search that a person will do on Google that I should appear for, so that's how it should work. So you need to kind of come up with keywords, and then you can work with a professional agency and ask them to kind of optimize your website for those particular keywords. But as a business owner, what keyword you should rank for, nobody will be able to tell you. Only you are the one who will be able to kind of identify that, okay, if somebody is searching for these particular keywords, will I be visible? And as a business owner, that strategy should come out from you. So keywords can be, of many types. There could be, short tail keywords, simple, small keywords, running shoes. Now, if you're searching for running shoes, there are a lot of companies that are already optimizing themselves for those particular keywords, right? So the chance of you coming in the top 5 is much lower, because uh, I mean, your competition is high. There are a lot of other websites also who are bidding. I mean, who are vouching for these keywords, and they're optimizing the websites for these keywords. Middle tail keywords would be running shoes for men. A slightly longer search volume that a person is a longer keyword that a person is searching for, and these are slightly relatively easier to rank for. And once you're starting your business, or you're starting your SEO, sorry, you should focus on long tail keywords. You should identify a keyword which are long, and you should optimize your website to rank for those keywords, because these keywords are relatively easier to rank for. So the number of people who are searching running shoes will be way higher than people searching for running shoes for men under 2000, right? So but the competition for these keywords will also be lesser. So always keep this strategy in mind. First, target long tail keywords. Start getting up on, start getting some visits on your website from the long tail keywords, and then start moving to middle tail keywords and then short tail keywords. That should be as a business owner, that should be your goal for your digital channel. So now that is one aspect for it. Second is that, say you are a business owner who is in the B2C space. So say you have some products that you're offering. Let's you've taken the example of Nike shoes, running shoes over here. Okay, now Nike running shoes. It's a very a simple example that Nike is selling its own shoes online, but even Flipkart is selling Nike shoes. Probably Myntra is selling Nike shoes. Probably Amazon is selling Nike shoes. So your own products are listed on other platforms. Now somebody who's searching for Nike shoes wants to buy shoes of the same brand as Nike, and but you will see in a lot of cases that above the Nike website, Amazon will be ranking, or Flipkart will be ranking, right? So when it's your own customer who's coming to buy your products, Amazon is actually selling your products on its own platform and taking a commission to sell products to your own customer. So it is very important that you optimize for your brand keywords. So if somebody is searching for your brand word, your SEO strategy should be in such a way that your brand, for your brand particular keywords, your website should appear number one. So that is I would say, that is something that you always need to keep in mind, because what happens is that generally I've seen a lot of companies, they will optimize for all the keywords in the world, but their own customer who's coming to buy their products is buying it from some other platforms, and they are ending up paying commissions to other platforms for this particular service. So this is the mindset, and this is a strategy that needs to be followed from a keyword point of view, and you definitely be able to rank. Now I gave you my example, but I'll just tell you how I'm doing it, right? So what I'll tell you is that most companies, if you're in the B2B space, that space in India, not many people understand search engine optimization. So you are in a good space. If you're in the B2B space, very few businesses in India are actually using search engine optimization. So just go online and put in that effort, get an agency, small agency on board, and start putting that effort. How I did it was that I went on this website called Google Keyword Planner, and I put in the keywords that I thought somebody would search for. In my case, I search for business keywords. Business keywords are keywords that will give me business. So any business keywords are anyone looking for my service, right? So I put those keywords, and I saw what are the keywords, how many people search for those keywords. So Google Keyword Planner is a tool which will give you the number of searches your business keywords have. So that's how that was my first step. Then I identified that healthcare digital marketing agency was a medium search keyword. Medium search keyword was that there were around 100 people who were searching for this every month in India, but it was relatively easier for me to rank for these keywords than ranking for healthcare marketing, for example. Because there are massive that has like a lot of search, but again there are a lot of other companies who healthcare marketing who may or may not be my competitor. So I started off with long tail keywords, healthcare marketing agency Mumbai, healthcare marketing agency India, social media healthcare marketing strategy company, doctor marketing agency company, things like that. I started focusing on long tail keywords, started ranking for those keywords, and then I went on to very very specific keyword like healthcare marketing agency, healthcare digital marketing, these kind of keywords, and then I started ranking for them. So I started off with the same approach that I looked at keywords that were long tail, and then came back to short tail keywords. And also what I do is I also rank for these keywords via my business page. So if anybody in Mumbai is searching for healthcare marketing, my Google business page appears. So that also makes a big difference. And I also one way of actually doing your SEO is that you should have a lot of blogs on your website. You should have a lot of content on the website, because Google will only reward rich content websites to come online. And that's the whole idea in terms of how you want to promote your content, how you want to kind of push your content to your users. And you should always ensure that your content has your keywords, because if your content has a keyword, the chances of you ranking are much higher. Also, always use a good website. Like I told you, these themes that I was talking about, from a technology point of view, these themes are already SEO optimized. So it saves you a lot of effort on doing tech changes on your website, because these themes are already designed in a way where the tech side of the SEO is always done. So in my recommendation, that should be something that should always be as part of your priority. So these are the things that I did for myself on my website. Obviously, it sounds simple, but there's a lot of effort that goes into it. But I'm sure you work with the agency that will kind of help you sort these things out. But this is how, as a business owner, you need to plan and monitor, your search engine optimization efforts. Yeah. Now, search engine optimization is organic. It's called organic marketing. Like, why organic marketing? Because you're not paying any platform to give you visibility. You are earning your visibility. So that's why it's called an organic platform. But there are also platforms which are inorganic. Inorganic, I mean, where you have to pay money. You pay money to rank. You pay money to get higher visibility. And let's look at that side of the segment now. Yeah. So the most common form of paid advertisement is search engine marketing. The difference between search engine optimization and search engine marketing is that search engine optimization is organic. You will rank basis all the effort that you have made on your website, all the effort that you have made on your content. But what Google tells you is that, see, search engine optimization doesn't guarantee that you will rank. If there are 10,000 websites, it's a very slow process moving up the ranks to kind of come on the first page or second page. So Google came up with this opportunity to make money for themselves and also give people an opportunity to rank online. They say that you can create ads that will help you rank online. And when you make any search on Google, you will see, if you can see the screen, there is hotels in Goa, right? Somebody search. So you will see that there's an ad written under that in the green segment, right? So that means that this is a paid for ad. So you can pay for space on Google, and this is a very I would say simple and cost effective exercise to drive leads for your business. The strategy remains the same. In this case, you need to find a keywords that can give you business, and go and run ads for those particular keywords. If you're in, again, if you're in a B2B side of a business, or in a not very competitive B2C side of the business, this is a very good tool to actually acquire customers. You run ads for your thing, and you can also cap your budgets basis what budget you're investing. You'll definitely start getting very targeted people coming onto your website, because these are people who are genuinely searching for that particular service. So search engine marketing becomes a very important and a very direct tool to drive business onto your website. It is a good alternative to search engine optimization, and it also helps you drive last mile sales. Now, what search engine marketing is known as, so there are different words that people call it. It's called PPC ads, which is pay per click ads. It's called cost per click ads. It's called paid ads. Right now, why is it called PPC ads? Say, for example, I am showing my ad over here. So on the, when you do any Google search, you'll have, Google has like 3 or 4 top searches which are ads. You will only and only get billed when a customer comes, or when a user comes and clicks on your link. So I might show my link to hundreds of people, but I will only get charged when a customer has the for only those number of customers who have clicked on my link and come onto my website. So it is a very safe tool to kind of also market, because if done smartly. So how does this work? I'm just simplifying the whole process to make you understand the logic of Google Ads. And trust me, this is actually a very, my personal advice would be that this is a very important tool, and it is a very guaranteed tool to start marketing online. So this should be on top of your agenda when you're starting your business. So the first process is, you define your keywords and you create an ad copy. Now, what as we had discussed in search engine optimization also, that we need to identify those keywords for which we as business owners know a person searching would, and landing on my website, would have an intent to buy. We identify those, we define those keywords, and we put it in Google Keyword Planner. We get like, okay, this is the search volume. Then we create an ad copy. Now, what is an ad copy? Ad copy means something like this. Okay. Hotel in Goa, the unique alternative to hotel, Airbnb.com. Okay. Then you say book your stay on Airbnb and save. 1 million host guarantee, 1,50,000 unique listens. So this is the content that is required to attract a person to click your content, to click your, click on your link, because you are competing with 4 other links. Now, so the idea is that always put your value proposition when you're writing a post copy, put your value proposition right on top. Over here, somebody searched for hotels in Goa. So now these guys have been smart about it. They've written hotels in Goa, but they've also put the value proposition that, boss, this is a unique alternative to hotel. Because the idea is that somebody who's not looking for an alternative to an hotel clicks on this, will come out of the landing page. Sorry, will come onto the landing page. Airbnb will get billed because they have clicked on the link, but that person, since he's not interested in an alternative, he will quit, and he will leave the website and go back, because it is not solving the purpose. So yeah, ad copy has to be a solving the problem, mentioning the problem that you're solving, and be very transparent. See, it should also be attractive enough. Attractive enough is like, say for example, you talk about your legacy of your brand. If you are your consumer facing product, you talk about up to 50% off on your product, things like that. So that is somewhere you have to create this copy, ad copy, and ensure that the ad copy is attractive enough for a user to click on your website. At the same time, it is relevant enough for the user to come onto your website and buy a particular product. So if it's misleading, it's your loss. You might be able to get your click, but you will lose the money that you're spending online, because that person is not going to come onto your website and either buy a product or call you up, things like that. So just be very careful when you're moving on this first step. Yeah. The next is, as I mentioned, you when a user comes and he enters a keyword on Google search, so that process is done. Now Google has an algorithm which is based on, it's a very complex algorithm, but it is based on bidding. So it's typically a bidding system. The person who's running your ads will put a bid for all the keywords that you are targeting, and basis the market rate. Then I'm just using very would you say very colloquial language to just simplify it. Like any other market, there is going to be there's a market place which is running live by the algorithm basis what the rate is going on. If your bid is matching the rate, your ad is shown, and this is happening at a dynamic level. So at every given minute there must be hundreds or thousands of searches happening, and each search is dependent on a particular bid. So there are different strategies where you can cap the bid. So you say, okay, I'm not going to pay more than 3 rupees for this particular keyword to appear, things like that. So that is done at the algorithm level. Now user sees the ads according to the Google ranking. Now if you want to rank also, your bid is not the only criteria that Google will rank you on top on social media marketing, on search engine marketing, sorry. Also, basis the keywords that you have, how well you have made your website, what are the key, if the keyword that you are bidding for online, do they appear on your website also, so that it's a relevant website. Google doesn't want random people to come show ads for random keywords. So all those things make a difference. Basis that, the algorithm will decide whether you can appear in the top 4 or top 5 or no. If you appear in the top 5, it appears for the user, and uh, you know uh, once it appears to the user has an option to click on it and go to your website or not go to your website. So this is how the whole process works. And you as a business owner have to be very, very vigilant at step 1, which is defining your keywords and creating your ad copies. And the second step is you need to ensure that, at the end of the month, when you work with an agency, you need to ensure that they give you a report. The report will always have what was the exact search. Google will give you a report on what was the exact search with which a person came onto your website. So you can see the report. Say for example, now today I'll give you my own business example, right? So if I'm running a SEM ad or a PPC ad, if I am ranking, I am bidding on keywords like healthcare marketing book, for example, right? So and if my website is appearing on search engine ads for healthcare marketing book, that person is not interested in my service, and I'm spending say 10 rupees, 20 rupees a click. So when I get the report at the end of the month, I will see, okay, I have appeared for healthcare marketing book. A person has clicked. I have spent 30 rupees. So I will make sure, I go back to the agency and tell them that, boss, the keyword strategy is wrong, because I'm appearing for these keywords, which have no interest for a person to kind of, come onto my business. So that's how the whole process should work. Uh, Next is search engine marketing. So search engine marketing, next is social media marketing. Now, social media marketing, I'm sure, we all have channels on social media. So this will be a lot more relatable. In this, I will, as part of this session, I will take you through what exactly, to look at in social media from a marketeer point of view. So we'll think of yourself not as a consumer now, but think of yourself as a marketeer, and we will analyze every channel in terms of how the marketing works. Whether it is the right channel for marketing, whether it is not the right channel for marketing, is for you to decide for your business. The first rule in social media as a marketer is that not every channel works for every business. So, I see so many companies that come to me saying that, sir, मेरा account है Facebook पे भी है, मेरा account Instagram पे भी है, मैं Quora पे भी blog लिखता हूँ, मैं ये भी करता हूँ, I was on TikTok also. Idea is that these platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, not all of them might be relevant platforms for your business. So that is something that you always need to kind of understand the strength and the weakness of every platform before you decide to get into any of the platforms. So Now, as a business owner, how would you use your social media platform? Very simple. Uh, think of it as four parts. Okay. A, awareness. So you show and you make people aware about your business. Initially, that should be the first step. You reach out to the most number of people, so people will know, oh, you exist. Then the next step in the mind of the your consumer is consideration, where you engage with your users. So you're showing your ads online, you're showing offers of your business online, you're showing your value proposition online. So that is the consideration where a person can probably decide to like your post or comment on your post or send you a message saying that, oh, I'm interested in what you're doing. Now that is step two. The third is conversion. A conversion could be a person is considering your what do you call it, have made a consideration and clicked on your link and he comes onto your website, so he'll buy your product. Who he has clicked on it to kind of come onto your website to probably fill in your lead form and contact you, right? So that is number three, where social media leads to conversion. The fourth is delight. Okay, social media also is a very, very good channel to engage, re-engage with your customer, build relationships, query resolutions. So look at social media when it comes to your business from this point of view. The point of view of these four major outlets or these four steps of the process. The first is awareness. So you need to ensure that your message is reaching out to the right people. It is the right audience that is getting a message. Then what the messaging is engaging enough for the audience to consider your value proposition. Third is that they come on. There's a very clear funnel where from a consideration stage they're either coming onto your messenger or they're coming onto your Facebook page, or they're coming onto your website and they are taking some action what you want them to take. And at the same time you are also putting a lot of content on your on your social media channels, so the customer is always engaged and is probably building relationships with your brand. There is query resolution, etc. All that's kind of happening on your platform. So this is the broad customer life cycle or consumer life cycle, right? Now I'll come to the point on all these particular platforms. These are my personal views based on my experience, and so I'm just telling you this from a practical point of view. Who should do what channel? Okay, now Facebook is ideal for brands who are looking to spread the word. The thing with Facebook is that it is the most cost-effective advertising online. It has the highest number of daily average users, and you can also access Facebook platform to use your Instagram audiences. So unless you are in a very core B2B business, but if you're what do you call a consumer-facing business, the Facebook, in my opinion, should be the first step to move forward on your marketing initiatives. Simply because you'll be able to kind of generate business at a cheaper cost. So I think Facebook is the must have marketing platform, at least especially at a B2C level. And what's another advantage in Facebook is that Facebook has over the years figured out exactly how to give results to advertisers. So you get very cost-effective clicks coming onto your website if you're promoting on Facebook. Your followers also can be grown easily through Facebook. I mean, it has its advantages over any other platform. So I would say Facebook should be the first particular platform that you go on. Then let's talk about Twitter. So Twitter is again a conversation-led medium. So you can work with a platform like Twitter where you're a brand that wants to actually converse with customers, and you can. It's a very, very good platform to kind of develop thought leadership. So you kind of work with. I mean, you must have seen online if you are on Twitter yourself. The activities that brands like Swiggy do, brands like Zomato do. Even Mumbai Police now. They're coming. They're capturing attention on Twitter with very smart content. So Twitter is a platform where if you want to establish thought leadership, it is a very, very good platform. And also it is a support based platform. So Twitter is a platform where most people will come come and rant about your product, give negative reviews about your product. So, there is more negativity on Twitter than there is positivity, is what I've seen. So if anybody wants to talk about your product, you will see maximum number of complaints coming onto Twitter for your product. So it also serves as a very good platform for your query resolution and support desk. Now, having said that, Twitter is not a platform where you can reach out to your end consumer to sell something, or you cannot reach out to a consumer to promote something. So if you're going and marketing on Twitter, it kind of it's slightly harder. And also Twitter, the platform is not built in a way where you can promote your products or you can promote your service to sell. You will not see too many conversions from that business. So you will see conversions from that business. So that is somewhere I feel that you need to understand Twitter, and Twitter is not meant for every business. Also, to grow your community on Twitter is very, very tough. Yeah, Twitter again is a very expensive portal. So Twitter should be used only for certain businesses, in my opinion. The third is Instagram. Now, the thing with Instagram is that it is best used to exhibit aesthetics of your offering. Now, Instagram is an extremely visual medium. So if you are in a business, like travel, fashion, and things like that, which has a very strong visual appeal, then Instagram is the right business for you. If you're in probably a B2B core business, you're into manufacturing, etc., then obviously, you probably don't try Instagram. You can have like a Facebook page, but Instagram won't cut it for you. So Instagram is where you have visual products. It's only go there on Instagram, because see, if you look at Instagram from the point of view of a user, or if you look at Instagram from the point of view of a consumer, a person is going onto Instagram to consume consume something beautiful, consume something aesthetic, consume something visual. You'll not see too much written content on Instagram and things like that. So if you have things that are not visually appealing, it will be a blind spot. A person, your ad will come or your content will come, a person will not even notice it and swipe up, or scroll up. So Instagram only and only put your efforts when you know for a fact that you are going to be able to appeal to a person visually, and you are in the business of appealing to a person visually. Also now Instagram also gives you an option of direct link to a shop, so a person can actually go through your catalog on Instagram and click and buy directly online. For this kind of a business, Instagram is a very cost effective medium. So over the last few years, what I have seen and how my thought process has kind of evolved is that um, Facebook 3 or 4 years back was the king, and Instagram and Facebook are both owned by the same company. But now Instagram is giving Facebook a good run for the money. So the amount of money that we were spending on Facebook for a lot of consumer facing brands was probably 70% of the budget we were probably spending on Facebook, on social media, and say probably 30% on Instagram, or 80-20. Today I would say it's 60-40 for a lot of brands, because Instagram has made the whole buying process or the whole lead generation process a lot simpler. So, Instagram is also a very, very good channel for this kind of a business if you're in. Yeah. Next is YouTube. Now, YouTube, brands come to me and they're like, so YouTube channel करना है, video viral करना है, या YouTube channel पे 1 million subscribers लाने हैं, 10 million subscribers लाने हैं. Point is, YouTube is a very content and a very video driven platform. When I say very video driven, Facebook also is a video driven platform, but YouTube is extremely video driven, because YouTube, when a person is going on to YouTube, he's not looking at those 10, 15 seconds, 30-second videos and just swiping up. They're actually looking to watch a longer video, a well shot video, a video with a lot more entropy. So if you are investing into a YouTube channel, don't be that company which is having, say 5-10 videos of your annual day, or having videos of, some event that you had in your company and, some 30-40 subscribers. It gives a bad impression to your customers. You rather not have a YouTube channel. But if you're in the business where, you can create content, there is some educational content that you have created, there is some training content that you have created, YouTube then is a channel that you should focus on. And if you are able to get customers onto YouTube, there is a deeper and very contextual engagement with the user. I have seen brands in the healthcare space that have sold inventory worth millions and millions of dollars only through the YouTube channels. So even in the what do you call food space, you have these cooking channels. I won't name them. I work with I worked in the past with actually one of the cooking channels on YouTube, and you'll be surprised to know that the lady was taking home around 18 to 20 lakhs a month to brand partnerships. And she was, I mean, obviously, she was spending a good amount of money, making her production videos and things like that. But the idea is that the level of engagement with the customers was so high that if you would say that, okay, guys, go and buy this particular brand of oil, for example, then people would actually go and buy that brand. And that's how brands would actually pay her a lot of money to advertise and do brand promotion. So if you have videos, or if you have a video first strategy, you are ready to invest into videos, and you also have time and effort, and you're able to have a good amount of budget that you want to invest into YouTube, where you think it's going to benefit your business. YouTube is a good channel. If you don't have that mindset, if any of these three things are missing, your intent is not very deep, your content investment is not good, or you don't have patient capital, then YouTube, you rather not touch YouTube as a channel. Another thing with YouTube is YouTube also works like Google. Since it's a part of Google itself, that keywords play a big role. So whenever you create some content, if you're uploading it on YouTube, work with somebody who can guide you on how to upload your videos. The video has a title, video has a description, which have the right keywords, you'll automatically start appearing for a lot of searches and be a lot more discoverable. Your videos will be a lot more discoverable. So YouTube is, that's why, a very very good channel to market yourself and start with. Next is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, again, always recommend have a good LinkedIn page to look like a professional company. Also encourage your staff to have a LinkedIn page for the company. And LinkedIn, again, is a very good platform because it can be used for running targeted ads for professional audiences, and B2B associations. My business, I'll give you a simple example. I have, we have a line of business where we uh, run digital training sessions or strategy sessions for product managers and pharma companies. Uh, Almost all my business has come through YouTube. Sorry, has come through LinkedIn, right? Because on LinkedIn, if I'm putting some content, I know exactly the audience who's coming on LinkedIn. My audience is product managers and pharma companies. I know what is the content they want to see. Likewise, in your business, whoever is your audience, you as a business owner know that, oh, this is the content that my company wants, my customer wants to see. So you can put that content. You can also promote that content. LinkedIn has a promotion ads channel at the background where you can select that you can put money in that particular account, and you can tell LinkedIn that show my ad to people with this particular designation. So LinkedIn will show your content to people with that particular designation only. So the ad platform on LinkedIn is good at a professional level. The drawback of LinkedIn is that it is extremely very expensive. Obviously, understandably, because the value of your transaction is also going to be higher. You're looking at a B2B engagement, so the value of your products or value of what you're looking to sell will be a lot more higher. But so obviously it's a lot more expensive to market on LinkedIn. To reach one person on Facebook, say, probably cost 30 paisa. That same person on LinkedIn would probably cost you around 4-5 rupees to just reach that person. Lead cost on Facebook for, say, 20-30 rupees. LinkedIn is like 800, 900. I'm just giving you a rough idea. Obviously it keeps on changing depending on your ad objectives. So LinkedIn, again, is a good platform. You should always have a page on LinkedIn. But again, if you want to do promotions on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is very very expensive. But having a page, a well-defined page, a good structured page doesn't matter. And in the SME sector, I've seen a lot of companies over the last few years are setting up their own LinkedIn pages. So definitely, this is one particular channel that should be explored. Now, what happens on social media is that you want your content to be very visually appealing. So you want to kind of have, the right imagery. You want to have the right background. Want to have the right messaging, and you also in the SME space, you don't want to spend money on a designer. For many reasons, you don't want to spend money. You don't want to hire a designer on board. Your designer is not able to get things right. What you are trying to convey versus what the designer is understanding is not happening. Things like that. So you can take matters in your own hands. There is this website called Canva. It's a simple website. You click on this. You click on. I'll actually click on this link and show it to you. This simple website. There are hundreds of templates over here. Okay, and a lot of companies are using it. So there are hundreds of templates over here. You can go onto a template. It is as simple as anything. You can go onto a template on Canva. Okay. I mean, this obviously we haven't searched anything over here, but I'm giving a simple example that you can go on this thing. Yeah. So say I'm in the pet business. So I search pet business over here. I get this over here. Now I can change the message over here. I can just go and I can just write, I can change the message. I can change the color over here. There are multiple options of the colors. I can change the colors. So I can design my own creative. There are hundreds and hundreds of themes over here. So the idea is that, if you are a business owner, you don't want to kind of, get an agency or get a designer. I would strongly recommend. It is a very simple platform. It is only drag and drop. You will be surprised to know there are some multinational companies which are using Canva. They don't have proper graphic designers in house, and they're using Canva to create their social media design. So feel free to take your social media in your own hands and create your own creatives through Canva. Yeah. Now, these are some effective hacks to kind of boost your social media organic reach, or I would say to kind of the right thing to do on social media. The first thing that you can do is simple. You can publish timeless content. So always ensure that your content is timeless. Always ensure that your content is reaching the right people, and it's uh, I mean, it is content that if I even read it after 1 year, it stays. Most people are only using social media. They're putting Happy Diwali, Happy Holi, this festival, that festival. That is not going to lead you anywhere. Social media, you have to put content that your user will read to buy your service, or your user will read to educate himself about you. So your image building activity. So always look at creating content from that point of view. When next year also somebody comes and sees the content, he's like, this content is in the right space. Keep your content very crisp. Don't write long stories, because the attention span year on year, there's the researches that are happening world over. Year on year, the human attention span is dipping by 5 to 10%. Over the previous year, up through different researches. So that's happening because now information is so easily available, and that's what even rise to platforms like TikTok, and where you just watch something for a few seconds and then switch. That's the reason. One of the biggest reasons for that is because you need the your attention span with the information is very short. You look at it, you take everything that your mind can take out of that information, and then you move on to the next step. So always keep your content very crisp, and you also visually stimulate your audience. Good looking pictures, also use videos. Now videos work very well because people are mostly using their phones to come online. So I mean, figure out how you can kind of post videos natively. Also, some posts will work for you at a particular time. So see, always have an eye that, okay, I posted on Monday at 5 p.m. and I got like say 50 likes, but I posted on say uh, one day I posted on Monday at 2 p.m. I got like 10 likes. So probably 5 p.m. works better for me. So just keep a track of all these things. Facebook will also give you that kind of data, but you also keep track of all these things and post it for the time that works. Don't post for the heck of it. Don't keep on just posting every day. People are not interested to, just see spam on their, timeline. If you are in a niche, partner with other Facebook pages. If you're creating a channel, then build community, and keep the channel always open. So if somebody sending you a message, please reply to them within 24 hours. You can also use hashtags for your content to get discovered. And how do you use hashtags? So if you can make note of this, there is this website called Hashtagify, HASHTAGIFI. So if you're posting something, you want to figure out what is the right hashtag I want to use. So you go on to Hashtagify and it'll give you like a recommendation of hashtags, that you can use. So overall, these are some good to do's for your social media management. Now, coming to the point, so I've kept the session very crisp and I've tried to keep it very practical because digital marketing is something where it's not one shoe fits all. Everyone has a very different requirement, and once you actually speak to people, once you actually understand other people's experience or questions, you actually learn a lot more about your own business. So I've tried to kind of keep it a very practical approach, and I look forward to a lot of questions coming forward in this session, so that it becomes more of an interactive session. So I'm going to tell you exactly, in my opinion, and this is not going to be a theoretical thing, and practically how do you start your digital marketing. Okay, so if you are, if because at the end of it, you need to know whether it works for you, it doesn't work for you. So you need to take a call on how you need to start it. So simple steps. Okay, first you identify a goal. What is the goal? If I am a salon, then I want to show people the beautiful haircut or the treatments that I'm doing at my salon. If I'm a doctor or if I'm a medical service provider, I want to tell people what are the offers that I have on medical tests. I want to tell people about the patients I have treated. I want to build my personal brand. So every business will have a different goal from social media. Now, basis my goal, I will select a channel. Now, say for example, I am a healthcare provider. I'm a doctor, for example. I am not going to go on Instagram and start putting pictures of the holidays that I have had, or putting pictures with my patient sitting next to me, all cut up, things like that. Right? That may not be the right channel. But I'll also talk about social stories. So I'll probably choose Facebook as my channel. I will. So I have to now, basis my goals, I need to streamline on my channel. So Facebook could be one channel where I can actually talk about, my some medical information that I want to give people. I then, as a doctor, I might think that, okay, boss, in my area, I'm the best, say, orthopedic. So somebody searching for orthopedic in Bandra, Mumbai. So I'll also optimize my website for those particular keyword, also best orthopedics in Bandra or best orthopedic in Mumbai. So I'll use search engine optimization, as one of the channels. I'll say that, okay, there are a lot of people searching for this, so I might invest money into Google Ads. So things like that, right? So first, then basis your goals, you need to identify what are your channels. Don't start with all channels. Start with 1-2 channels, and once you decide what your channels are, the best way to do it is that don't reinvent the wheel and start romanticizing कि मैं ये करूँगा and I'll get my customers from here. I'll focus on these keywords. Don't do that. See who your competitors are and see exactly what they're doing on those channels. The best way to do it is, and we manage $1 million accounts, but even on $1 million account, my strategy is always this. When I enter a new business vertical for any of my client, I will only and only go and see what the competitors are doing, and to start with, I will only do what the competitors are doing. The advantage of that is that those people have, over a period of time, they've gone through a learning curve, and they have reached a stage where they are ranking for these keywords because they have understood how it works. So you should always start doing what your competitor is doing and then evolve your marketing strategy. Don't try to be too different, because these people have spent thousands, lakhs of rupees on these particular channels in the past, and over because they've entered the market before you, and they've kind of made a learning, and now that's what they're doing. What they're doing is right. They've kind of worked over the thing. They've reached a certain stage of proficiency. So that should be I would say, a goal metric where you kind of see what your competitors are doing, you observe them on those particular channels, and then start formulating your strategy from there. Now, once you start formulating your strategy from there, work on a total budget. Now, a budget will have two aspects to it. One would be a service fee, and one would be an advertising fee. Now, a service fee would be a simple, you know, is the fee that you're paying the agency that who's working for you. Or if you have people working internally, you're paying the person who's sitting with you internally and working. And then advertising is a fee that is a media spend, what you're investing into Facebook, or you're investing in Google for your ads to appear, right? That's a media spend that you're doing. So make sure that the service fee and your advertising fee
Sir,
is
hello.
Yeah.
Mr. Divej.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I have a question. Can you please just elaborate point number 3? See what your competitors are doing on those channels a little more, maybe once again. और आपकी 2-4 स्लाइड्स पहले एयरबीएनबी का एक एग्जांपल था जहां पे पर्सन वाज सर्चिंग फॉर होटल्स इन गोवा एंड एयरबीएनबी का आया था कि यूनिक अल्टरनेटिव्स टू होटल्स. तो वो क्या ये पॉइंट नंबर 3 की स्ट्रेटेजी थी एयरबीएनबी की, क्या था? आप थोड़ा
देखो, एयरबीएनबी तो अभी ये बिजनेस में बहुत टाइम से है, तो एयरबीएनबी तो अपने कंपेटिटर्स को नहीं देख रहा है. एयरबीएनबी का तो खुद का, मतलब उन्होंने जब स्टार्ट किया होगा तो वो पूरा लर्निंग हो गया. बट से फॉर एग्जांपल आपका होटल है, आपका होटल है, जो एयरबीएनबी के साथ आपको आपका होटल है जो ऑल्टरनेटिव स्टे में, फॉर एग्जांपल. तो आप देखते हो कि एक सिंपल मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ कि आपका एक ऑल्टरनेटिव स्टे है, एक गेस्ट हाउस है बॉम्बे में, फॉर एग्जांपल, और आपने आइडेंटिफाई किया है कि आपका कीवर्ड है गेस्ट हाउसेस इन बॉम्बे या होम स्टेज इन बॉम्बे, फॉर एग्जांपल. तो आपने डिसाइड कर लिया कि मेरा कीवर्ड है होम स्टेज इन बॉम्बे. आपने वो कीवर्ड गूगल में डाला पहले. अब वो आपने डाला वो कीवर्ड पहले गूगल में सर्च किया आपने खुद मैन्युअली, तो आपने देखा कि एयरबीएनबी रैंक कर रहा है और एक कोई से कॉम्पिटिटर 2 रैंक कर रहा है. आपने देखा एयरबीएनबी के कॉपी में उसने लिखा है कि फुल्ली गेटेड सोसाइटी, फॉर एग्जांपल. दूसरे वाले ने भी लिखा है फुल्ली गेटेड सोसाइटी. फिर एयरबीएनबी ने लिखा है कि व्हाट यू कॉल फ्री कैंसिलेशन टिल अप टू 24 आवर्स. दूसरे वाले ने भी लिखा है फ्री कैंसिलेशन अप टू 24 आवर्स. तो वो इसका मतलब क्या है, आप उनको देख के आप अपने कॉम्पिटिटर से ये सीख रहे हो कि ओवर द लास्ट फ्यू इयर्स ऑफ डूइंग एड्स कॉम्पिटिटर ने ये रियलाइज कर लिया है कि मेन पेन पॉइंट कस्टमर का ये होना चाहिए कि बॉम्बे शायद अनसेफ जगह है, तो उनको गेटेड सोसाइटी चाहिए, प्लस उनको फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी चाहिए कि विद इन 24 आवर्स में कैंसिल कर दो बुकिंग. तो अगर आप वो ऑफर कर रहे हो, आप अपने कंप्यूटर से ये सीख के जब अपनी एड्स चालू करोगे तो आप आपके एड में ये कीवर्ड्स होने, आपके एड में कॉपी डिस्क्रिप्शन में ये पॉइंट्स होने चाहिए. दिस इज योर लर्निंग फ्रॉम योर कंपेटिटर्स. हेलो.
यस, अंडरस्टूड सर, अंडरस्टूड. थैंक यू. सॉरी मैंने डिस्टर्ब कर दिया आपको बीच में.
No worries, feel free anytime. I'm anyway reaching the end of the presentation, so it's question and answer after this. But I'll come to this point in more detail also, channel by channel wise.
Yes.
Okay. फिर एक होता है आपने एक बजट एलोकेट कर दिया, एक सर्विस फी प्लस एडवर्टाइजिंग फी. उसके बाद यू क्रिएट अ मैप फॉर योर बजट एलोकेशन. तो आपने वो डिसाइड कर दिया, चलो ठीक है, मेरा 50,000 का बजट है, तो मैं 20,000 तो एजेंसी को दे रहा हूँ, 30,000 की मैं एड चलाऊंगा गूगल पे या मैं फेसबुक पे चलाऊंगा. तो मैं कैसी टाइप की एड चलाऊंगा, मैं किस चीज से चलाऊंगा. तो आप वर्क विद एन एजेंसी एंड उनके साथ आप ये डिस्कशन करके उनसे एक पूरा प्लान ले लो कि आपका बजट ये एरिया में जाएगा और इससे आपका एक्सपेक्टेशन ये होना चाहिए. या तो इतने लीड्स आएंगे, या आपके वेबसाइट पे इतने क्लिक्स आएंगे, या आपको इतने फॉलोअर्स आएंगे. ये आपको एजेंसी देगी सामने से, और ये हमेशा लेना है व्हेनेवर यू आर वर्किंग विद एनी एजेंसी. अब उसमें क्या होगा, once they start allocating a budget in these areas, उसमें आपको एक रिजल्ट्स का भी वो लोग देंगे कि इतने क्लिक्स आएंगे, क्या होगा. The biggest mistake SMEs make or mid-sized businesses make is that वो जो प्रॉमिस किया था वर्सेस जो रिजल्ट्स आए हैं वो कभी टैली नहीं करते हैं. तो एजेंसीज क्या करती रहती है, वही रिजल्ट्स, मतलब वही एक मीडियोक्रिटी में चलते रहते हैं विदाउट एनी एफर्ट, विदाउट एनी व्हाट यू से पुश टू थिंक आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स. तो ये होता है कि एज अ SME ओनर, whenever you're working with a marketing agency, the biggest strength should be कि आपका प्रेशर हमेशा हाई होना चाहिए, और आपका you should always make an attempt to understand कि आपकी एजेंसी क्या कर रही है. Because as an agency and as a business owner, I know I can frankly tell you that today I have 10 accounts, and वो होता है ना that the child who cries the most gets the food first. तो वही होता है, the client जो सबसे ज्यादा परेशान करता है उसका काम सबसे पहले होता है. So the idea is that you also as an agency, always keep scrutiny, because your the agency business is such कि इतना काम होता है कि अगर one client थोड़ा laid back होता है, then we also go laid back on that. So always observe your results and keep on changing the plan. Month on month you should call for the next month का plan. वो प्लान का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन होना चाहिए. आपको पूछना चाहिए कि अगले मंथ क्या अलग हो रहा है, कि हम अपने टारगेट्स को मीट कर पाए. और हमेशा से कभी भी ना स्टार्टिंग में एक्सपेक्टेशन हाई मत रखना अपने डिजिटल मार्केटिंग से, बिकॉज इट इज अ लर्निंग प्रोसेस. वन बिग मिस्टेक कंपनी मेक इज वो स्टार्टिंग में बहुत एक्साइट हो जाते हैं, बड़ा बजट लेते हैं, 6 मंथ ट्राई करते हैं, फिर नहीं चलता है. फिर वो लोग क्या करते हैं, एक एजेंसी से दूसरे एजेंसी पे शिफ्ट करेंगे, दूसरे से तीसरे पे शिफ्ट करेंगे. बेस्ट वे टू डू इट इज के वर्क विद पीपल जिनके साथ आपको कंफर्ट लेवल है. आप एंगेज रहो अपने उस पे जब तक ये पूरा आपका डिजिटल मार्केटिंग सेटअप नहीं हो जाता है. व्हाट आई मीन बाय सेटअप, जब तक आपको पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट्स नहीं आते हैं, बिकॉज पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट ओवरनाइट नहीं आएंगे किसी को भी. टुडे आई बीन वर्किंग इन हेल्थ केयर फॉर 5 years now. Whenever I get a new client, I am starting from a zero slate, because what works for, say, my one Jaslok hospital that is probably in South Bombay, versus a hospital of the same size in North Bombay, which is the same level hospital. What works for the South Bombay hospital versus what works for the North Bombay hospital is completely different from a channel point of view. So you have to be involved with your marketing online. And this is the last slide, how to work with an agency. So always test the understanding of your business before you give the contract. If the other person is able to understand your business, then only they will be able to do your marketing. If they don't understand your business, no matter how good they are with the marketing, it is not going to work for you. Start small. Start with an SEO of 20. Start with the mandate of SEO plus small social media, or only SEO or only social media. Small retainer initially 20 to 40,000, whatever basis your scope, basis where you are in India, that should be your starting point. So these are some points that you need to kind of focus on while working with an agency, and with time these things you can grow into something much bigger. So this is how I would say that it should work. Thank you.